Hey, everybody. Today we are really digging in to a conversation that I think is kind of challenging, complicated, interesting, and it might be something that you deal with. And the title of today's show is Why Should They Change for You? So have you been in a relationship where they're not seeming like they're adjusting, or maybe you're the person that feels like they're asking me to do too much? We really want to talk about that today. So jump on in, come on in. We are ready. So let's talk about it. Thank you for tuning in. We are Tristin and Michael, and you are listening to Fuse Transparent Conversations for Marriage, Family, and Relationships. We invite you to join us as we discuss topics that are thought about but not talked about. So tell your friends and family to check us out, and of course, join us on all social handles at Fuse Marriages. Sir?
How you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I almost ended too fast. I didn't get a chance to respond. I was like, that's one of them issues where like you're talking, or you actually hear somebody talking, but you already got a answer in your head, and you're not really listening though. So you actually are really preparing your response. That was a good little.
So one time I should try to throw you off one day and like be like, I'm doing horribly, and then you be like,
yeah, I'll be like, you get caught in something. So you gotta listen first. You gotta listen before you speak.
Okay, so I have this song stuck in my head.
Okay, what you got?
Okay. And y'all might know this song, so I'm not advocating because y'all know I don't know all words to all songs. I just don't. I know like choruses. Okay, ready? It's a song. It came out a couple years ago. And it says, I will change for you. Who sings that?
I don't know.
Y'all know who sings that?
Yeah, I don't know who sings that.
I will change. It's a pianist. I will change.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that song.
Well, there's an old first album John Legend song.
Oh yeah, he not
and we're gonna keep it moving. But there's this old song. It's called "I Will Change." I think that's the name of it. Y'all can correct me. But that was in my head when we started thinking about today's topic.
You could have told me about that beforehand, but that's all right.
What? That was what was in my head?
Yeah, I mean, like you could have gave me a brother a heads up, like, hey, I'm gonna sing a little bit of this. It's gonna be this. You can ask.
Oh, I mean, that wasn't really singing. That was something else.
Gotcha.
There are singers out there that are like, no, she was not singing. But today's topic is why should they change for you?
Yeah.
Why should they change for you? So the John Legend, you see the connection? So it just kind of came up.
I hear these because he said what I heard you say, he will change for.
I will change for you. So anyway, so as we dig into this topic, I loved the title that you gave it because it made me start to think like, I wonder where he's going to go with this. So make sure that if this is something that is interesting to you, that you tell your friends and your families to jump on in, tune on in, and comment in the chat because we always want to hear what you would have to say. So jumping into this, talk through why should they change for you? What were you thinking?
I think that's a great question, right? Mm-hmm. First and foremost, why should I change for you, right? Because oftentimes, and hopefully I'm not going too far left from where you think I'm going. If I am,
okay.
We'll be back
no,
in.
I want to know.
No, but he said, but the idea is like we wonder if we have somebody that we're with and they're not, say, responding to maybe what our requests are, or trying to come and get a better understanding of what's needed for them. We wonder, like, okay, what's the issue? I think that's breaking up homes because people are wondering, like, why this person ain't changing for me. Right?
That's good.
And the idea is that we go into a relationship thinking that, you know what, a person should change for you. They should. That's what we think. And I'm actually questioning that, to be honest with you.
Okay, hold on. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Bring it on, because I want to know what you mean. So the question is, why should a person change for you, or why should I change for my partner? And you're saying maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe they shouldn't, or at least the question is, part of the question is the question, why? Why is it so important for me to change for you?
Okay, keep going. I need to hear more.
Okay, we'll get there. We're gonna take the slow road. You want to take the fast road? Which one?
No, you can go slow.
Okay.
That's another John Legend song.
Okay. You go. Okay. We're not really. Okay. I'm not really a fan of that artist, but I mean, he good. He used to be good.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, that's a whole different.
That is a whole nother topic. But go ahead.
I mean, so the idea is like, we wonder if I want you to be different for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say that because there's a reason. If I want you to be different, let's take out whatever for it. If I want you to be different, you should understand why I want you to be different.
Okay.
And that agreement should come together between the two people. Okay, this is why I want you to be different.
Okay.
And I know we can talk about examples of like, because I tried to change you a little bit,
Okay.
a lot bit. I don't know. You can tell me how, when we first got married, I had a nice, plain, simple home, right? I had a pantry with, with about 3 spices in it.
No, literally 3 spices. You had salt.
Can I
Cinnamon?
Are you gonna tell it? Want me to tell it?
Okay, go ahead. No, it wasn't even salt.
Yeah, let me tell it.
It was Tony's.
She gonna let me tell it. See, she gonna just jump in on my. Okay, you
Okay, no, go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
I had 3 spices. Very simple. Like you said, Tony's was one. Salt and pepper were the other 2. Didn't need anything else. Was nothing on the walls. And I was completely fine with that. I said walls, like, there was no decor on the walls. It wasn't the paintings and pictures up. None of that. And so when we got married, I'm like, what's all this stuff we talking about? We got to go to Home Decor and Bed Bath & Beyond, and like, for what? And I was seriously like thinking like, no, she needs to be like how I'm living and how I'm used to being, and like, and change to that side. Just be, hey, it's cost effective. Right? Cost effective. That was my logic. It was cost effective. That was what I tried to change you in that area. Right? Another area that didn't work, by the way, and I had to say, okay, yeah, you're right. It does look kind of bland. And when I saw a decoration, it looked better.
Thank you.
It looked better. But I wanted to change you toward my end. I had another thing I wanted to, like, you know what? How often she gonna cook? 5 meals a day. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of hungry. She like, okay, hey, you can get some leftovers in there. I cooked yesterday, and that lasted. We did, and in my mind, I had an idea that what it was gonna be, and you had an idea what it was gonna be for you. But I'm thinking that you should bend toward my way. And when you did cook, it was great food. Today it's great. I love it to death. So it's not like I'm asking, like, because like I really, really love your food.
Thank you.
Right? But it was unrealistic for me to kind of have her change to that without understanding, okay, why? Like, do you need it? Is it a health benefit? Like, what is it like? I know you're hungry. You can eat leftovers the day after. I'm like, that's not that big a deal. But I was trying to change you in that way, right? And it caused some friction. And they may be funny now. At the time, neither one of them 2 were like, hey, I'm like, you like, even on the core, spend it. Like, no, we're not spending that. It was like an issue. Or cooking, like, hold on, like, you like, I work too. Like, hold on, can you, go pick up some, or Luby's, or I don't know if everybody got Luby's.
Oh, I love Luby.
Furs, everybody got Furs. Either way, it's restaurants, go pick up some food or something like that. So I was trying to change you, but I don't think you understood the reason why, and actually maybe the why is really was the most important thing we should have kind of talked about beforehand.
Yeah, I'm curious of what your why is going to be. But as you were talking, I was thinking about ways that I tried to change you.
Yeah.
And some of my ways, and I think a lot of these things come from, what your background is. There's a lot of considerations why it's important to you. So one of the ways that I think I tried to change you is it's communicating, but in 2 different ways. You wanted to talk about finances. Like, I did not like talking about money. It was not something it wasn't because I was spending so much, despite what you implied with the house buying stuff. But it wasn't that I was spending. I just wasn't accustomed to having conversations about it. I was good and grown when we got married. So I hadn't had to talk about finances with anybody. Or the money that I was making, or where I was spending it, or what I was putting it into, what accounts, or so having that conversation, like, I tried to get you to be like, no, we don't really need to talk about it. It was very uncomfortable to have those conversations. And I wanted you to see my way, like, no, you do whatever's been working for you, and I'll do whatever's been working for me. So that was one way. Another way, and maybe not as serious, is that I wanted for us to, I'm an extrovert introvert, which means that I like to be around people and then I come back and I can be by myself for an extended period of time. And then I go back around people. Michael, I don't think that you're like an introvert, extrovert. So you can spend a lot of time by yourself and like short spurts, go out with people and then come back and spend a whole lot of time. So we're almost opposite in that way. And I really wanted you to be like, no, we're going to have more house parties and we're going to be going to more get-togethers and we're going to go out on couple trips and couple dates. And he's like, why? Like he would go, but it would be like a whole lot of, it wasn't pulling teeth because you weren't like hyper opposed. You were just like, I don't need that. You know, like I'm good. I can talk to my friends. I can go see them once a year and be okay. And I think you actually told me, you like, all my relationships are good. Like everybody gets it. So I think that was a way in which I tried to change you. A less serious way is I did try to get you to do more ironing. That was important to me.
You gonna bring that up?
It was at one point in our relationship.
Wow, y'all, that's okay.
At one point in our
all right,
relationship.
y'all pray for me. It's gonna be good. You know she gonna that's below the belt a little bit.
Why?
Hey, but it's all good. But you're right though. You're right. It's a true statement. I can't say I deny that.
Because what I wanted him to come to with the I don't think it was blow the belt. What I wanted to come to was like domestically, I really liked like, okay, hey, if we're going to split some of these household responsibilities, you expect me to cook. I expect you to do these things, you know, fold the clothes. And I've talked before, that wasn't his skill set. Fold the clothes, iron, hang them up, like that sort of thing. And I tried to get him to see like, no, this is why can you not do this?
I thought it was a personal attack at first, to be honest with you. That like I didn't iron my clothes. So I kind of went out like real wrinkly every day. So I thought you were going there, so I was telling myself when I kind of like, it's a below the belt. That's what I was referring below the belt. But I got you. I finally, okay, cool. Yeah, I can.
Well,
I got you.
Since he brought that up, he really didn't iron his clothes, like ever. He took them, he used to say that they're clean. Mm-hmm. So they, in the dryer, they're, you know, that they're clean.
You got the wrinkle free.
He would say the wrinkles are going to fall out through the day. I was like, sir, wrinkles don't fall out of jeans.
Hey.
Just want to let you know.
Hey, I can teach y'all about a few things about that, but that's all right. We ain't talking about that today. They can learn something. It's a whole different discussion.
So yes,
be efficient with your time.
We try to be efficient with your time is letting wrinkles stay in your clothes. It's a Do not follow that advice. Do not. Okay, we're a work in progress over here. But that gets back to what we were talking about in terms of us trying to change each other. The values that I tried to project onto you and make you believe them without really explaining why they were important to me. Because some of the values that we try to put on each other, they might not be important like in the scheme of society even. It might just be, this is what's important to me, and my expectation is now they are important to you, without actually having a discussion of why they might be important to you, which I think gets back to what you were saying.
No, absolutely. I'm just going to add one more before I jump into the next idea I'm thinking about. You tried to keep me up late too, because I'm an early person. Y'all I get real early, and I go to bed relatively early.
Very.
I mean, probably real early, a lot of people out there. But you want to like keep me up, like, hey, you can't stay up till 9. Like, no, I woke up at 4 a.m.
Y'all hear that? 9.
But I woke up at 4 a.m. Mm-hmm. So like, no, I can't. My body won't like it's shutting down. I've been up, 3 hours before everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but I think you come to, at least understand, okay, you know what? He's getting up really early, but you wanted me to change for that. So I was like, okay, we had a little, bump aheads of that a little bit. I try to come to your side and, stay up a little bit every now and again, once a month.
We've evolved working on it.
Working on it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, but the idea, I think, just to kind of tie everything what we're saying about, why people change or why people are asking somebody to change. I think the why is really important, because I think people or couples are breaking up because they see their significant other not changing based off of their request. Mm. Like families are breaking up, couples are splitting. I think they may be splitting prematurely, in my opinion, just from the outside looking in. That's, don't get me wrong, maybe some issues that may be beyond that, but we're talking about just, hey, this person just won't change for me. People will like, well, leave, mm-hmm. right? They'll leave because they don't see the response that they are expecting over months, years even, And I want to throw in the idea of that. Why should they change for you? And I would go even further and say they shouldn't change for you.
Okay.
Right? This sound kind of harsh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You see, you got that look on your
I'm wondering
face.
where he's going with this.
Well, no, they shouldn't change for you.
Okay.
Right? And the idea is that the only reason they should change is really to better themselves. If you make it about you, they may not change for you. But if you make your statement of why you want them to change about them, there's a higher probability they may change for them.
So you're saying that the way in which we say it is what that hangs on, if they will change.
Now, I'm not saying the way you say it.
Okay.
I'm not, and maybe we are. Maybe we can talk about it. I don't believe I'm saying the way you should say it.
But it should be a benefit to both, is what I hear.
No, it shouldn't.
Okay. Go ahead.
I would argue against that.
Let me hear you. Come on.
Say it only should be a benefit to that person. The best loving relationship is about me promoting you to be the best you. Mm-hmm. Forget about what it does for me. Mm-hmm. I may benefit from you to be the best you, I may not. But if I'm going to ask you to change in any kind of way, it's about you being the best you. If you're going to ask, hey, Michael, you need to talk more. It's not about me talking more to you, but me interacting with the world in a unique way. And ultimately, yeah, you will get benefit because I'm being the best part of myself. So people often frame it up like, they ask a question or ask a statement or ask a person to change. And they say, well, you're not going to do this for me. Why? Because so that you can get the benefit out of something that I don't think I need or I don't understand that I need. So it's almost having that person understand like, hey, you know what? I'm telling you this because I see something bigger and better in you that you don't see in yourself. And yes, I will get benefit from you making the change, but ultimately it's about you being the best you. So
go ahead.
So if I have anger issues, right? It's not about me stopping being angry at you because my anger issue probably spill out not beyond just you. It's about me getting control of my anger issues and say, hey, you know what? First of all, I shouldn't have that in my heart. I shouldn't be that. We have kids, they may see it. You go to work, you're out in the, you're driving or this, that, and the other. You got road rage, all the stuff that kind of goes on really that's beyond just the household. And that person has to see like, okay, hold on. My spouse is not being selfish because oftentimes people often think it's selfish for somebody to ask, why you want me to change this for you just so you can benefit? And I don't see the benefit from my end. You got to make that other person see the benefit for them. And then I think you will get a higher probability of people wanting to change when their spouse or significant other ask about it. So if they're not changing, this is like somebody that's not changing or they're struggling. Like, man, they hitting it on the head. They kind of like, man, I kind of figure out I've done everything. That's what they said, I've done everything. That other person is probably thinking like, you know what? I'm doing this just for you. And that's not great enough for them. Now, some people can say, well, it should be. But for a lot of people, it's not. Because we want to say, okay, hold on. Are they being selfish by asking me to do this? Or not? You got your wheels turning. What you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking, so then where does sacrificial love fit into this? Because if it's provable, if it's like, okay, I can prove to you that this will benefit you, then where does I'm just doing it because I love you? And then my part B of that question is, then what, like, how deep does this go? Like, hey, can you grab a spoon for me? Like, is that something that now needs to be a provable sort of thing? Or is this a maturity thing by the time that they mature into? Yeah, talk through that. Talk through those two.
Part A, I don't do well with part A and part B. So what's part A? What's the question?
Okay, I'm wanting to know, where does sacrificial love come into this equation?
Okay, so you're actually saying why that person is basically like sacrificing their love.
No, why? Yeah, why can't just their love? I'm doing it just because I love this person, not because it's proven to me that it does good for me, really in any way.
Some people will, right? Some people will, but others won't. They may not be either at that level, as you kind of, I guess, were alluding to from your part B of the question, of like being at the point where they're able to say, I can sacrificially give something. A lot of people are, and I think I heard the term, transactional, and you have to basically give them something in order to get something back. And sometimes it's giving them advice of, hey, you need to be a better part of you, versus giving them, say, hey, you need to change for me. There's no transaction. It's a one-way transaction for some people. And those that are in that kind of state of mind of, or heart place or whatever you want to call it, like they're seeing like, okay, this is a one-way transaction. You want me to do all this for you, and what's in it for me? In order to get to the point where it's sacrificial, you got to be able to say, "Help, can I help this person mold into the best part of themselves?"
So what I hear you saying, that this is like step one, and then as you grow and you mature, and as you're making your partner better and they're making you better, then some of like the transactional conversations that, like, hey, I have to tell you why this will make you better. You're naturally going to fall into the better parts of you, which mean that you're going to serve and love deeper and better.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand what your thinking is, because it's like it's hard for us to comprehend. I'm talking about you and I, that somebody could actually think that and still be in a relationship. There are a lot of relationships out there like that where, you know what, a person has said something 8 years, whatever, in a row, and the person just not responding to it. And it's not because they're a bad person, not because they're a hateful person, not because they're a mean person. They just haven't responded to it. The idea I'm suggesting is that, you know what, you got to help that person understand it's not about you benefiting. You're not asking to change for you. And I know what you said about the whole, it should be, but you're not that this person is in that state of mind. You're not asking them to change for you. You're asking them to change for themselves.
Yeah. And I think that comes with a certain amount of, there has to be a certain depth to the relationship. Like it can't be that you're always asking your partner to do something for you, because then this is just going to be, to your point, one more thing added on. So, hey, I want you to change the light bulbs. I want you to fix the fence, and I want you to take the kids to soccer practice, and so that I can have, my day. And if that's the crux of the conversation, if it's all transactions, if it's all logistics, if it's all operations, then at some point I think that people get to the like, I'm just doing this for you, so you're not making any deposits here. You're only making withdrawals in this relationship. And so I think having this sort of thing, I think it's a reframing of thinking for both parties, where if I'm asking you to do something like, hey, stay up late, like, why? What does that mean? Hey, if you could stay up late more frequently and I get up early more frequently, because we need more time to connect, and I think it'll make our marriage better. And I think that will add some time where we're not just kind of dealing with the kids and the family and the money and the work and the whatever else that we talk about. Then I think that could improve intimacy in our relationship. I think that would be worth the conversation, versus every time that I'm having to tell you, hey, would you get the fork for me? Because when you get the fork for me, it makes me feel this sort of way, which means that we're going to have sex because you got the fork for me. Like that could be like, okay, like a lot to negotiate. But what I'm hearing is this has a lot to do with the maturity of both parties and the maturity in the relationship. Because then you receive it from me when I'm saying, hey, this is going to make you better. You really need to work on that anger, because I'm nervous or I'm concerned that anger is going to spill over in places that it shouldn't. So you are fussing at me and you're chewing me out, but you really need to work on this within yourself. So you need to do whatever is necessary, because I don't want to have that. I don't want the kids to have that. I don't want whoever to have that. This is not necessarily our situation, but I'm saying those kinds of things apply. Is that what you're getting at there?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And I can maybe give even another example, and maybe that's a real practical, people some may be dealing with or not. But it's like, I'm a husband, right? And you're my wife, and I'm working a lot. Right? My work causes me to come home a little bit later than maybe you want me to. 8, 9 o'clock sometimes, but I'm just working. And your request is, hey, you know what? I need to spend more time with you. Can you come home earlier? Okay. It's a reasonable request. Probably people have asked that, right? I need to spend more time with you. I would suggest to reframe that question up, right? In order to make this person, if you continue to ask that and they're not responding to that, where they're giving all these excuses, whatever, why they got to do it, I would ask that person, if I'm talking to the wife and telling her to re-ask that question, to say, hey, instead of saying it that way, tell him that, you know what, you want him to be the best husband possible. In order to be the best husband possible, we got to spend time. In order to spend time, you got to leave work a little bit earlier. And not just you being a good husband. If you got kids, I want you to be a great father. How are you going to be a great father without being here? Ideally, he wants to probably be better. Him hearing that versus him saying, I'm not spending time with you. Is the difference in how something may receive that different. And couples are breaking up and getting divorced over because they're thinking like, okay, he just don't love me. He don't care about me. No, he's just not hearing you. He think you're being selfish. He's not saying that, or she could be the other way around too. You're being selfish. You just want them to change for you.
Wow. So we're talking about two really distinctively different things within the context of the same conversation. So we're talking about how to communicate where somebody hears and they hear your heart, because it is about, it's a lot deeper, but we're also talking about the maturity in the relationship and how to grow to the point where you're communicating well, you're hearing well, and the relationship is expanding well.
That's the goal.
So that's a really deep thing. I want to just ask one question as we kind of close out today, because this is something I'm going to have to process. Maybe you're processing too. But as we get into this, would you say that the reason that people don't change is specifically because they're not understanding, or that they're not hearing, or that they don't really feel that you care? What is the main reason? Is it that they think that you're selfish? That's the reason, period?
I mean, people don't change for a lot of reasons, right? But I think one of the reasons that gets overlooked is that people are not changing because they think their significant other is being selfish and only wanting their way.
So that is and
they're not articulating that, but I'm putting language to what happens out there. They're doing what they're doing, continue doing it. Look at you like, okay, she just want her way, or he just wants his way. I'm not changing for that. I'm not going to pick up the kids because she just want to do that. Whatever it is, they think it's a selfish desire on the other party. I promise you, this is happening out there. This is happening. But like it's a crazy concept. If you're in a healthy place, it may not relate, right? A healthy relationship, and then nobody's perfect. But some couples may not have this, but there's a lot that do. There's a lot that do that are struggling, trying to figure out why my spouse is not. Why is it not sinking in?
Yeah.
And we all may go through that certain point in time, right? Of like, hey, looking at you like, man, why should we do that?
Yeah.
And like, it's because we have to reflect. You know what? She has my best interest at heart. She's not telling me this just because. And if you can get back to that point of thinking, it's okay that my spouse has my best interest. A lot of people don't think that.
Yeah.
They're questioning that. Do my spouse have my best? And they question that for years.
Yeah.
Does my spouse have my best interest? And I'm going to ask them to do something. They're going to ask me to do something. It may not link up. So
yeah,
something to think about.
It's definitely multi-layered. I'm grappling with it myself because there's so many facets to this, like the maturity of the relationship. I asked you that last question because I was trying to see if you thought it really is selfishness. And that's really what it is coming down to, is it's not understanding the heart of your spouse and thinking that they're something that they're not, or maybe it's something that they are. So
some spouses are selfish. They're asking you to do something because it exclusively benefits them, and that's all they care about. Forget about the world and how it's going to affect you and how it's going to make you better. It just benefits them, and then people see through that, like, okay, you know what? They're just doing that because it benefits them.
Wow.
And some people could be like, yeah, you know what? Be misunderstandings too. So yeah, either side could work.
Wow. So hopefully this content has helped you. It's given me something to think about. I appreciate you sharing that perspective because, like you said, there are some people that are thinking through that, are dealing with that, are experiencing that. And if that's you, we do ask that you reach out to us. Let us know what your thoughts are. If this is something that you've overcome in your relationship, what conversations did you have to change how you communicated, or the tone in which you communicated, or the time of day? Did you seek out counseling or therapy? We want to hear from you because this is a community and we believe that we are growing together. So thank you for tuning in. Please make sure that you connect with us on all social platforms at Fused Marriages. And as always, we have content and resources on our website, fusedmarriages.com. As always, let's talk about it.
Michael, Tristin.